What up, nerds? My name is Leslie. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I like to talk about all sorts of fun bookish related things in the science fiction, fantasy, horror, and manga genres. So let's chat about what I read last week, what I'm going to read this week, and then I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you're working on. Alas, the One Piece journey with the Straw Hats has finally come to an end for a time. There are tons more out there to explore and delve into, and different types to see what all I might enjoy. Finally, last week, we started our journey into Tokyo Ghoul. The very first thing that struck me about Tokyo Ghoul is the art. It's very different from the two mangas I've already tried, which are One Piece and Inuyasha. It's definitely a more mature look. I was really attracted to the way the artist used his drawing techniques to show different types of scenes and emotions. Not only did I find the artwork attractive, the story also really drew me in and had me thinking about it long after I put it down. I had tons of questions. By the time I finished volume 2, I knew that this manga was one that belonged in my collection. This is definitely one that I will just enjoy pulling down from time to time. Number one, just to look at the art, but two, I am so intrigued by this story. I am so invested in knowing more about the world that is just contained in these pages. Volume 3 is my favorite of the bunch so far. The character development in this one is just insane. After I finished reading it, I went back and read through most of it again. This one actually took me the longest to read because I kept just rereading and going back and revisiting the pages over and over because I just enjoyed it so much. I didn't want it to end. I wasn't prepared for the 4th volume. There was just no way I could foresee what was happening, and even when the core focus of this story was underway, I still didn't know where it was going, and when it got there, it was just wow. This is a very intense storyline, but it is so intriguing, and how certain types of ghouls see each other and see humans and how they're interacting in this world and just what some are willing to do. So then today I get to volume 5 and I'm thinking I have been exposed to this artist's work, his techniques, like all of it by this point, right? No, wrong. Wow, this is the first time that I actually got several volumes in and just saw something different, more beautiful. I would absolutely love to have some of these paintings in an actual painting or drawn artwork framed and hanging on my walls. I am obsessed with this manga. I'll give you a little bit of the basic premise of Tokyo Ghoul to see if maybe you would be interested in reading it. From what I've read so far, Tokyo Ghoul is a story that centers around a very ordinary college student named Kaneki. And he's only ordinary until a certain encounter turns him into a half human, half ghoul hybrid, which is a very rare thing from either the human or ghoul perspective. He is learning how to exist in both worlds while at the same time trying to figure out how to master his abilities and to be able to survive in either society. It is absolutely fascinating. Right now, every volume seems to leave me with more questions than answers. It's really fun to think about and puzzle over. I'm enjoying it very much. So far, I've just read like the funny comic slapstick humor manga. This is my first one that is a more mature storyline, and I am absolutely enjoying it way more than I thought I would. It is just so beautiful, but in a dark way. It's kind of confusing how some of the probably more disturbing scenes are just so beautifully and intimately drawn that you're just swept away by it. This has just been an absolutely fantastic journey. I cannot wait to continue. I'm upset that there's only 14 volumes in this. Like, why? Why did we stop at 14? Wow. So that's where I am on my manga journey. Let's move into books that I finished. The first book that I finished is Scratches by Joshua Marsella, and I absolutely freaking loved this novella. I used it to break up the monotony that I was experiencing with Devil's Creek, and I actually ended up binging it. It is everything that I was looking for a good spooky October Halloween vibe-ish read. It was everything you could hope for in a creepy ghost story. I may have had issue sleeping after reading it a little bit. So it accomplished its mission. I'm so glad I picked it up. It was a great recommendation from Brad Proctor. I did already do a standalone review for this one. It went up on the channel on Friday. I'll link it in the cards for you if you missed it. Check it out. Fantastic story. The next book that I finished is Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. Again, I used it to break up the monotony I was experiencing in Devil's Creek. Again, excellent choice. It wasn't what I expected, and that's probably because all of my friends who read it are all parents, and they related to and experienced intense emotion because of the bond that they have with their own children. I don't have children, so I didn't connect to the story in the same way that they did. I just connected to it in a completely different way, to a completely different character, which is hilarious. I will have a review going up on the channel later this week for Crossroads because it, like Scratches, are part of the giveaway for the month of October. I did see the end coming. Maybe not quite in the manner in which it unfolded, which was nice. It doesn't bother me to know what's coming. Most of the time I'm wrong anyway, but even when I'm right, it's not so much as the end as the journey getting there. And the journey getting to the end was a little, it was really raw and just not Disneyed up at all. The author really left the grit in, if that makes sense. I really enjoyed this one. And that brings us to Devil's Creek by Todd Keisling. As I mentioned with the two previous books that I used them to break up the monotony for Devil's Creek, this one got so boring to me, and this is 100% subjective to me. I'm kind of a weenie. I get scared easily, and this one, it started off really well. The first 160 pages just gave me Salem's Lot vibes with the slow build up, but I just think it went a little too far with it because I got insanely bored. So then I decided to just break it up, maybe read one chapter per day, 10-12 pages. Even so, I was still falling asleep reading it, and then it just got to where I was not looking forward to picking it back up at all. When it got to the end and things did start happening, they didn't happen for long, and then we had another big lull. The scary things weren't really scary so much as they were gross. But those are the three that I finished. I do have a few that I'm still working on. So the first one I'm still working on is Oathbringer. This is a book that I'm doing as a read-along with the Stormalong 2020 group. So the most interesting thing that I have found with the Stormlight archives, all three of these books have a different pace and tone. The Way of Kings was a very character building, kind of slow build, very serious feeling. Words of Radiance was just hilarious. I was laughing through that entire book. I learned a lot, but it was just done in such a fun way, and it was so fast paced. This one has really slowed down, and I'm okay with that because I'm reading it really slowly, so the pace is actually fitting my reading pace with it, if that makes sense. And I know all three books kind of focus on a different character in their flashbacks, and maybe that's why they're kind of written in different styles, which is really cool if that's how Brandon Sanderson meant for it to be. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue in this one, and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm not in love with learning about young Dalinar. Right now, I'm just really uncomfortable with how he was as a young man, and I understand that people change. I'm looking forward to the development over this one and learning more, but that's where I stand with it right now. The other book that I started and I'm still currently working on my Kindle is Patience of a Dead Man by Michael Clark. Michael Clark is another horror author that was recommended me by Brad Proctor, and this book is amazing. I am only 25% of the way in. It is so difficult to put down. It's another one that was exactly what I was looking for as far as tone for the month of Halloween and a scary story, period. This is everything. This book, if you have read it and you can recommend other horror books that are in the same vein, I need you to get in the comments and tell them all to me. I love this book. This book is exactly what I look for in a horror. I've also never read Michael Clark before, but I'm going to tell you, I'm about to buy everything the man owns. He writes so well. It's so descriptive. When I read this book, I am in the story. I can literally, in my mind's eye, picture the house, and I can hear and feel and just experience everything that's happening, which scared the crap out of me. And I love it. Like, I am addicted to the level of fear and thrill that I get when I read this book. Like, it's perfect. Right now, it is my absolute favorite read of the month. I can't wait to read more of it. I'm stoked that it's a trilogy. I'm in love with this book. So we've talked about what I've read and what I'm still currently reading. Let's talk about what's on deck next. Today I actually started Monstre by Duncan Swan, and I'm doing this as a buddy read with Brad Proctor. He does have a channel on his Discord for any of you that have picked this book up and would like to buddy read it with us. I'll link his channel in the description box down below if you would like to join us. We would love to have you. This has been a very anticipated read for me. I have really enjoyed reading post-apocalyptic horrors this year, so that's why I saved this one for last, because I just really have been looking forward to it, and I'm really excited to get to read it with my buddy Brad. Be looking to hear more about this one later. Finally, I will be starting Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This is the Shelf Space book club pick for this month. That is hosted by Jessie May's channel, which I'll have linked in the description box below. This book inspired the TV series The Expanse, which is one of my most favorite shows that is out right now. They just announced the next season is going to hit in December, and I am stoked. I can't wait. A few of my friends have read the series, and they said that this is the first series they've ever read where the books and the TV series match almost perfectly. I'm extremely intrigued to hear that. I can't wait to find out for myself. So that's enough about what I read and what I'm reading and what I'm gonna read. Now I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Have you been reading anything to get you in that spooky Halloween mood? So don't forget to watch and comment the reviews this month, guys. They're all part of that giveaway I've got going on that I'll be drawing for on October 31st. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. If this is content you enjoy and you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you be a member of the family. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful week and a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you soon.